Hello there guys, welcome back to my channel for yet another live stream on my channel, as today we discuss the Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0 game in more depth than I did over on Blues Fans TV last night already, because there are so many things to actually talk about. Whether it's the penalty decisions by the referee, by VAR, when Harry Maguire literally turned into a WWE superstar and wrestled Azpilicueta to the ground. Honestly, you know, we go from that, then we go to what is N'Golo Kante actually bringing to the team these days? What is Frank Lampard doing? We will look at why 3-4-3 is, in my opinion, a really awful formation, but why I still understand where Frank Lampard is going, or went for it yesterday, and why he's focusing on just solidifying the defense right now, and then to start again from the get-go, if that makes sense. What's happening with Callum, bro? We'll get to that. And of course, guys, I will get to things that you guys have put into the chat later on. Let me just talk to a few things myself. And to everyone that's saying things in the chat, YouTube automatically censors things. So if you use swear words, your message won't actually show up to other people. So if you want other people to see what you say, don't swear. And also, if you more likely for me to read it out if you don't swear, because if I swear, YouTube will demonetize me. So hence why none of us, let's swear. How about we do that? What do you mean? What is Kante bringing? What the F? Well, let's talk about it. I'll get to it, guys. I'll get to it. But if you are new here, make sure you subscribe to my channel. That'd be massively appreciated. We're just over 40 subs away from 7K. So everyone that's watching today, if all of you sub, because I guarantee not all of you are subscribed, make sure you subscribe right now and help me reach 7K subs. That'd be absolutely brilliant. And honestly, massively appreciated. And of course, drop a like. Everyone that's watching right now, make sure you go down below and smash that like button. That would genuinely be massively appreciated. It really would. But let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the game, and let's start it off by talking about the lineup, which was this. As we started in a 3-4-3 system with Edouard, Mendy in goal, you could see a couple of player ratings here by FotMob, but I don't necessarily agree with all of those. But that's what they came up with. So Edouard, Mendy in goal, a back three of Azpilicueta, Thiago, Silva and Kurt Zouma, and then Reece James and Ben Chilwell as the two wing-backs, Jorginho and N'Golo Kante as the two central midfielders, Christian Pulisic on the left as the either left winger or left number 10, I guess, if you want to call it that, and Kai Havertz on the other side on the right, and then Timo Werner did start up front. And when I saw this lineup, I was like, why are we doing this? I know we did it multiple times against Manchester United, but whenever we did, we lost. And the one time we didn't do it, which was in the League Cup. Oh no, we did do it, didn't we? We beat them in the FA Cup. We did do it in that game as well. Yeah, let me waffle. But it is a personal thing. I will admit that. It is a personal thing. I just have a problem with the formation. Antonio Conte just soured it so badly for me, because that second season on Antonio Conte, honestly, it was so angering to me. There was very few seasons and very few number of games that ever angered me so much as a Chelsea fan as that second season under Conte. That 1-0 defeat away at Man City, honestly, that was the worst game I've ever seen as a Chelsea fan. I've never felt more embarrassed than during that game, because we went there and we didn't even try. We've just sat there and we're like, all right, you want to beat us? Beat us. That's literally all we did, and that's Antonio Conte. And that was in his stupid 3-4-3 system, or 3-5-2 at times. I just don't like it. And I will show you right now why I don't like it, because I have for you now on screen the pass map for the game. I hope you can make it out. Look at this. You have the wing back in Chilwell and Reece James. You have the three centre backs, and then you have the two midfielders with Jorginho being a bit deeper than Kante. You can see that's where all of our passes were going. And that is what this system does. That is what the system does. You have this stupid little ring, like the M25 around London. And that's all there is. That's all there is. Yeah, you have three centre-backs and it helps you in defending, and that's great. But you do not have an existing midfield, and you do not have pace. I mean, you do have pace, but you don't have actually allowed those players to push up. And the only thing you actually managed to do in this formation is cross the ball. Now, two problems with that. We had Timo Werner in the box, who's not even 5'11", and we don't get enough people into the box when we play this system. This system works when you play on a counter because it helps you be solid in defence. But when you actually have the majority of possession, which we did in the first half, nothing happens. Okay, in the second half, we didn't have the majority of the ball, but another problem comes into it. Teams have learned how to play against 3-4-3. Yes, it has worked on occasions. It worked against Jose Mourinho twice last season. Maybe that's more down to Jose than us doing so well in this system. But as you can clearly see, the midfielders are being made useless. The front three are being made useless. It's not as easy as, oh, Havertz was poor, Werner was poor, Pulisic was poor. They didn't even receive any balls, because Manchester United, it's so easy to just block those three players. You can't you just can't pass the ball to them. Even to Jorginho and Kante, it was barely possible to actually feed them the ball. All we did was pass it around the back, from the right wing back to the centre back, over to the other centre back, over to the left wing back, sometimes back to the keeper, and that's literally all that happened. It is infuriating, and I don't understand why some people like it. I personally don't understand it. But I will talk. Timo is 5'11". That's pretty tall. It's not tall. If you looked at him, Timo Werner is not tall. He played against Harry Maguire, who's what, 6'5", 6'4". It's not tall. He's absolutely not tall. But I will talk about a few things. First of all, why is Frank Lampard doing this? And as much as I dislike it, I understand it to some extent. I honestly do. Because I think Frank Lampard just got fed up with how many goals we conceded. I think it's as simple as that. He just got fed up with how many goals we conceded. And he was like, all right, we are still scoring goals, that's fine. But we just can't sort it out defensively. It doesn't matter who I put in the team. It doesn't matter what shape I go with. It doesn't matter what system I go with. It doesn't matter what I tell them. They always mess up. They always have individual errors. They always just make mistakes and we concede goals. And what I think Frank Lampard actually did, and is to just go back to the basics. So strip it all back. We start with defending well. At the end of the day, a good defense wins you championships. You know, you need to build a good attack on a good defense. You need to find that balance. But clearly, we've struggled to find that balance while already having a good attack and then adding a good defense to it. So I think what Frank Lampard actually has decided to do, even if he didn't publicly state this, sort out the defense, make sure we play better, and that was with a back 4 against Sevilla or a back 3/5 against Manchester United last night. He just wants to make that better. And then we go from there. And I understand it. I don't think he's happy with the lack of movement in the final third, the lack of opportunities created. I'm sure he's not 100% happy with that. But I think he's okay with that for the time being, as long as, you know, the defense gets better and better and better. One thing I do disagree with, though, is, in my opinion, he hasn't given the combination of Thiago Silva and Mendy, plus whoever else plays with them, the chance to actually prove that they can do this even in an attacking team. That's what I don't like, because against Crystal Palace, Mendy and Thiago Silva started. We were on the front foot all game. Yeah, Palace were really poor and really defensive. And, you know, when they tried to hit on the counter, Zaha and whoever else they had up top just really, really had a poor game. But it's a simple fact that, you know, against Sevilla and Manchester United, we didn't even try to see if with Thiago Silva and Mendy we could be defensively solid, even without being defensive as a team. And we know that we can score goals. I mean, even before the Sevilla game and the Manchester United game, we scored loads and loads of goals this season already. We just conceded too many as well. We scored 3 against Brighton. We didn't score against Liverpool. We missed the penalty and missed sitters, so we should have even scored against Liverpool. We scored 3 against West Brom. We scored 3 against Southampton, and probably missing a game here. But, you know, you get the point. And we scored 4 against Crystal Palace, and then you had the 1-1 against Tottenham in the League Cup. And obviously, however much we beat Barnsley by, I can't even remember. But we scored plenty of goals. So that's not necessarily Lampard's concern. We know that we have the players in the front. And guys, I'm 5'11", maybe just over it. Kind of almost 6 foot, but I'm not even going to pretend to claim it because otherwise people just mug you off. So I'm 5'11". I wouldn't class myself as tall. Neither is Timo Werner. And the guy doesn't win headers, you know. Maybe even if he was taller, if he doesn't win headers, it's pointless. So moving on. Lost my train of thought here completely. Jorginho had 0 progressive and final third passes against Manchester United, and contest passing and decision making has been awful. Even his tackling is a bit off and is fouling his opponent a lot. TK13. I will have to disagree with that because that's different stats to what I read, but we'll get to that TK13. I appreciate putting that in the comments though. I appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in, by the way. Of course, as I always do, make sure you subscribe, by the way, and drop a like. That'd be massively appreciated. But so we score goals. So I understand why Lampard maybe is kind of trying to maybe strip it back just to like make it a bit simpler. I don't know if you can put it that simply, but I think that's what he's trying to do. And with a goalkeeper that, for the first time, by the way, Edouard Mendy is the first goalkeeper at Chelsea, to have a clean sheet in his first 2 Premier League games. First time since Petr Cech, that is. You know? So it's quite good. It's quite good. I'm not saying it will be as good as Petr Cech. Of course he won't. Barely anyone will ever will be. But it's still good. And I don't know what's going on with the lighting here. I need to change something up here because my bloody forehead is a bit too bright, in my personal opinion. So let me just change the lights a little bit because I'm not the biggest fan of this here. But I will just keep talking. You guys are here. Let's give this team time to sing. Yeah, I completely agree with this statement. It would be silly not to. It would be really silly not to. But to some extent, you also have to say this was... How many games have you played this season? 7, 8? You know, there comes a point when things become a little bit too ridiculous. I understand we need to gel, and I'm not expecting us to be inch perfect, but we should be better in certain things. But like I said, I understand what Frank is doing. I don't like it. And I'll show you the pass map again. This is not pretty, and no one wants to see this. And Frank Lampard doesn't want to see this either, but no one wants to see this. This is awful. This is genuinely awful. But there's a few things I need to get to, because there's a few things that we need to discuss. We all know that Mendy had a great game. We all know that Thiago Silva had a great game. We all know that Kazuma is probably set type centre-back next to Thiago Silva more often than not. Ben Chilwell, brilliant addition at left-back. We have good competition at right-back with Reece James and Azpilicueta. Or obviously when we play a back five, Azpi is the right centre-back, Reece James is the wing-back. It's great. But in midfield we have problems. We have serious problems. N'Golo Kante, mind you, he's meant to be really good at tackling. He won 0, and I mean 0 duels yesterday. Not a single duel did N'Golo Kante win yesterday. He gave multiple fouls away. He gave the ball away 13 times. 13 times in one game. And people be telling me he's world class. N'Golo Kante was world class. And N'Golo Kante might one day be again world class. But right now, N'Golo Kante is not world class. And I completely agree. You said like Silva is a level or 2 above Zuma. Of course he is. Do you still have us in your top 4 for this season, Laurenz? Yes, I do, King Butler. Yes, I do. Let me just reply to that. Electronic ear. What if we start playing attacking in next games and then again concede and then again switch to defensive formation? I think we need to trust Silva and Zuma and Mendy and play a little attacking. I completely agree with this statement. That Jorginho stat was from expected Chelsea Twitter account. Fair enough. TK13. What I read is that N'Golo Kante didn't have a single completed forward pass. That Jorginho had many more interceptions, many more successful tackles, and many more completed passes than N'Golo Kante did. Like I said, N'Golo Kante won 0 duels, gave the ball away 13 times, and won less tackles and won the ball back less times than Jorginho did. Especially because Jorginho won it back in the opposition's half and even in the opposition's third. I can't remember the number, but more times than N'Golo Kante did. So you're on your way home. Love that from you. Brilliant. Have a safe trip home, gorgeous. But honestly, N'Golo Kante is a problem right now. But I'm not saying Jorginho is incredible and Jorginho is amazing and there should never be a debate about Jorginho. This is not at all what I'm trying to say. Jorginho, in my opinion, has had a good season so far. But in my opinion, Jorginho always struggles in a 3-4-3 system. He was surprisingly good, in my opinion, yesterday. Jorginho in a 3-4-3 is crazy. And we were lucky that Manchester United were kind of passive as well, because Jorginho in that system can honestly be suicidal. He'll be annihilated. We went for it anyway, but then we have Kovacic next to it, and Kovacic has the problem that he's really good. No, he's good at a lot of things, but not very good at that many things. And the things he's best at is dribbling and carrying the ball, and that's great because he can dribble almost like Hazard, just that he's slower. But with the position that he plays in, and with finding a final pass not anywhere near often enough, plus just not being capable of scoring enough goals with the abilities that he has, that's why he doesn't play. Because he's not as good at sitting and controlling as Jorginho. He's not as good at tackling and intercepting as Kante. And then where are you? And the problem is we also only have those 3. Until Billy Gilmour is back, we only have those 3 players. What do we do in the upcoming games? Who travels to Krasnodar? Who plays there? Who plays against Burnley? Who plays against Rennes the week after? We have so many issues here. But a problem is that it's a problem everywhere. It's a problem everywhere. We have minor problems at the back, mostly individual errors rather than systematic problems. We have the midfield that in some games works brilliantly well and in some other games works awfully badly. You know, Jorginho and Kante together sometimes work really well. Jorginho and Kovacic worked really well in some games last season. Kovacic and Kante very rarely works. People need to understand Kovacic and Kante together is a midfield that just can't work. Because if you think about it, Kovacic and Kante both like to push forward, both like to run. And then just leaves huge gaps in behind. People always say, okay, just tell Kante to stay. I completely agree, but Frank isn't doing that. Or Kante isn't doing that even though he's told. This I don't know. But until Frank tells Kante, or until Kante starts doing it anyway, we won't actually ever know whether that will work. What we do know is that if Kante and Kovacic play together, both push and we leave gaps. which is why it doesn't work. So Jorginho at the moment is set. Jorginho has to start pretty much every game. It's just about who starts next to him. And at this point, honestly, there's very few games where I prefer Kante over Kovacic, because whenever Kante has the ball, you can almost be 90% sure that he'll lose it. 90% sure, and it's depressing because I love N'Golo Kante. How can you not love N'Golo Kante? I'm just trying to be objective. I'm just trying to be honest, and I'm trying to be critical when I have to be critical. And I think I have to be critical with N'Golo Kante because he's just not as good as he was 3 years ago. N'Golo Kante is not the player he was 3 years ago. But let's get to the main talking point. Let's get to the main talking point that is also the title of this video. Harry Maguire turned into a WWE superstar. I've not watched WWE in many, many years. But I don't know, bloody Batista. You know, Harry Maguire's huge ears, Batista had huge ears. So, you know, but bloody Batista, and that's what I'm going to go with. Turned into bloody Batista, wrestling, tackled Azpilicueta like this, right? And dragged him down. And the referee doesn't give a penalty. Fair enough, the referee can't see everything. But then there is VAR, and apparently they claim, I think they're lying, but they claim to have looked at this and just waved play on. There is a monitor at the side of the pitch, and that's exactly what Frank Lampard and even better so Azpilicueta said. VAR is good in general. But the crazy thing is that we give way too much responsibility to these people that are set in this little office, in this little box looking at screens. That those shouldn't be the people making decisions. When something's crazy happening, fair enough, they should tell him, all right, you got this wrong. For simple things like offside, which is either offside or not. The whole Mane one against Everton might be a tricky one. Maybe that wasn't actually offside, but other than that, offside is a factual decision. Either you're off or you're not. No, you say you're waffling now. You're waffling now. Kante was significantly better under Sarri than he has ever been under Frank Lampard. Honestly, it really, really has. But moving on from that, other than factual decisions, the referee on the pitch should make the decisions. He should go to that bloody monitor and check himself. They wait so long for VAR decisions anyway. It's pointless. Just run over to that monitor and I guarantee he gives the penalty because Martin Atkinson, in theory, isn't an awful referee. And he can't see everything, but the combination of referees and VAR, how it works in England, it's genuinely outrageous. These people are blind. These people are blind, and it's crazy that Sunday League referees, random Austrian League referees are better than English Premier League referees. England, by the way, is the only league in the world where referees can actually be referees as their full-time job. In the Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, Liga, whatever other league in the world, referees is only a second job. I don't know, they have other jobs in midweek, whether they're builders, whether they're lawyers, whether they're whatever else, whatever day job, they might be factory workers, but they are referees on the weekend. In the Premier League, being a referee is a very well paid full-time job. But they are some of the worst referees in the world. They're some of the oldest referees in the world. They're some of the most unfit referees in the world. And still we run around accepting this. The Premier League is the highest money earning league by far in the world. But we can't afford to have better referees. I don't know, maybe a system has been put into place which takes a few years to actually reap the rewards from. And maybe better referees will be coming through. But we've had the same bad referees for years. And I'm not even saying Mike Dean is awful, but Mike Dean is over 50. How are you still a referee with over 50? How can you be in the correct positions when you're 20 years older than the players? How can you be expected to have the fitness levels, the concentration levels, and just the ability at 50 to see everything that is necessary to be seen? Wait, what did he say? Sarri played Kante in the final when he was injured. I personally think Kante was on a... than under Sarri. Of course, Kante was better under Conte than under Sarri, but not because of Sarri, but because of Kante. Also, slightly not his best position. I agree with that. You know, that is to some extent true. But are you sure that, you know, Kante playing in the final was the problem? Because Kante looked absolutely fine in that final. He didn't limp. He didn't run slow. He didn't look in pain. He was absolutely fine in that final. Lampard played him in games when Kante had to come off. Kante didn't have to come off in the final, and people have this idea that, oh, Sarri played him when he shouldn't have played, and that's why he got, you know, injured, and that's why everything got worse. No. This is a load of waffle. Nitin Garg, said, "What do you think is our best formation?" Personally, I think it's a 4-3-3, but because of Havertz, I think it's a 4-2-3-1. But we just need better midfielders. I don't know whether Jorginho and Kovacic works. Or if Kante improves again, it's a tough one. I would even start to consider Reece James as a midfielder, to be honest. Lion 876. Lampard has failed. He's a good player and legend, but unfortunately, he isn't good enough for an elite club like Chelsea FC. I mean, it's a bit iffy. He was out for months after that final, but you know that could have happened regardless. I mean, And like, you can be injured after a game, or you can be injured even in training or whatever else, without anything. Like Kante, Hazard broke his foot in pre-season for Chelsea, and then he was out for months. Are we gonna blame Conte for him training? What? Like, do you know what I mean? I believe Lampard realised this, reason why he went after Declan Rice. Don't know what you said before this, but yeah, I agree with this. I'm just not sure whether Declan Rice is the best option. Why not someone like Zakaria? Why not someone like, what's that? Forget his name. Ligue 1, plays for Lille, I think. Can't remember. There's many players out there that could be good options, because I just think Declan Rice, he's a good player, but he's too expensive for how good he is. I mean, that's why we didn't sign him. Hello, Laurenz water bottle. I hope you're good. I hope you're good. And I speak very fast. I do apologise about that, mate. I do apologise. Do you think Callum Hudson-Odoi is better than Mason Mount? I think that's a difficult comparison to make. As a winger, yes. As a player, no. Because, you know, you have to kind of compare things differently when they actually play in different positions. Work rate, Mount definitely trumps Hudson-Odoi. Shooting from distance, Mount definitely trumps Hudson-Odoi. Discipline, Mount definitely trumps Hudson-Odoi. But dribbling, going past people, one-on-one attacking, I don't know. Passing, probably Mount is better as well. So Jorginho is not good enough starting league winning team. I mean, you're just a waffle job. You're just a waffle job, honestly. Retired top referees should take up VAR duty. Your thoughts? I mean, but they still have to work every weekend then. So it depends on what their reasoning behind retiring was. If they don't want to do it anymore, they don't want to do it anymore. If it's because they were too old to handle their physical, you know, demands, then maybe that's a good shout, to be honest. Ethan Shrapnel said, Ndidi is not a bad shout. Ndidi is not a bad shout. Callum can cross as well, yeah. But, you know, again, difficult to compare because I don't want Mason Mount to be playing on the wing anyways. Although when Mount came on for Havertz yesterday, we actually improved, if you ask me. We actually improved. But let's get back to the referees for a second. I don't understand how we can keep accepting this, because the same thing almost happened in the second half again. When this time, almost a combination of Lindelof and Harry Maguire dragged down Zuma in the box. I'm like, what is this? Like, how can this constantly not be given? It's just crazy. You can't just make it as simple as, oh, you know, we just didn't see it. We missed that one. Unfortunate. That's not how it goes. These people are full. Like, imagine you go to your dentist and you say, oh, my tooth hurts. And then the guy rips out the wrong tooth. Or imagine you go to your bloody baker's and you buy bread and then turns out your bread is mouldy on the inside. That's basically what referees just getting every decision wrong is. This is their job. You're meant to do your job right. And they don't do their job right. And this is bloody frustrating is what it is. It's bloody frustrating because it happens too many times. And it just happens to happen against Manchester United many times. Yesterday on Blues Fans TV, I was so angry. I even called bloody Manchester United and the referee organisation corrupt, because who the fuck knows? It happens too often that Man United get away with the decision. It's crazy. Ethan said, I have PTSD from Bakayoko when I think about us buying DMs from other leagues. To be honest, Bakayoko would not be a bad chat right now. Bakayoko had an awful time at Chelsea, I agree. But when you look at him, how he plays at Milan and how he's doing at Napoli right now, he's not actually that bad. He's not actually that bad. James McKee said, who should we buy in January? Well, that's a tough one, isn't it? That's a tough one. Some midfielder would be good, in my opinion. Some winger would be good, in my opinion. So we can stop bloody playing Mason Mount out there if Lampard doesn't want to play Hudson-Odoi. Don't know. We should have signed Benrahma, in my opinion. We should have done. Maguire headlock says that. It's like he wanted to sabotage him. Like, what the hell? We play football to get bloody headlocked like rugby. It's exactly my point, Lion. That's exactly my point. It's genuinely outrageous. Agreed. Cheers. Callum, oh yeah, someone said that. Kante is world class. He runs everywhere on the pitch. He's everything we need. It's just Jorginho. Like, what the fuck? Get Kovacic is a dribbler with pace. I mean, I don't know how many more times I'm going to have to say it, Lion. But if Kovacic and Kante both play, they both run. Imagine how much space there is behind them. Think of how can this possibly work? No midfield in the world has a midfield who both push. That doesn't work. Why can you not understand this? It's simple. It can't possibly work. And Kante isn't world class. Kante can't tackle well anymore. He gives so many fouls away. So many fouls away. And like I said, 90% of when he has the ball, he gives it away. And it's done. People like and subscribe. This man is talking serious stuff. Yes, King Butler. This is what I like to see. This is what I like to see. Someone said, Iyad said, sorry if I butchered your name, mate. Ampadu had a great match against Liverpool. Maybe should have stayed. I completely agree. Ampadu should have stayed. Once we didn't get Declan Rice, I think Ampadu should have stayed. And I think the point when we loaned out Ampadu, we're like, okay, this is a good opportunity for him to go to Sheffield if he gets enough game time, which he hasn't so far, but at least the last game he played. And I think the club were actually very confident in getting Declan Rice, which is why we let it happen. Laurenz water bottle. Here's to you, mate. Even Evra said Maguire was like Hulk Hogan. Did he? Love that. I started watching the whole debate between Evra and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, but I didn't finish it because I had to stream. I had to stream here, didn't I? Because, you know, that is very important. Because I need to, you know, share my thoughts with you guys. Because it's very important. I really do appreciate every single one of you that is tuning in. Again, make sure you subscribe, everyone, and drop a like. You know, if you're here right now, that'd be massively appreciated. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your name. I'm really sorry, mate. It's because they are protecting their job. Corrupt referees protecting each other. Yeah, you know, it might be true. It might be bloody true. Because, I mean, if you really got rid of all the bad refs in the Prem, well, you wouldn't have any refs left, would you know? So that's an issue. That's an issue. I mean, it's enough said that Mark Clattenburg went to bloody Saudi Arabia to be a ref there because he was paid 20 grand a month. Or was it 20 grand a year? Surely 20 grand a month. It can't be, no. It must be 20 grand a month, if not a week. They were spending more time checking Kante's tap on Rashford and didn't even take a look at Harry Maguire's choke on Azpilicueta. Yeah, Abby. I mean, they claim to have checked at the Harry Maguire Azpilicueta situation and just waved it on. That's what they claim. I don't know whether it's true. I think they're lying, but, you know. And the whole Kante... I will say something slightly controversial to a lot of people. Hear me out. I actually think that can be given as a penalty because I don't remember who, but one of our players tackled the ball and then another player, I think Thiago Silva or Kante, kind of collected Rashford's foot. Two different players. And then it is a foul actually. So I think we were a bit fortunate to not get a penalty, but obviously it happened directly on the other side from when we should have had the penalty for Maguire wrestling tackling Azpilicueta. So obviously it shouldn't have even gotten to that. And if VAR worked and if the referee did his job right and gone to the monitor, it would have been solved. But actually, I think that could certainly have been given a penalty. I'm not saying it's stonewall on Rashford, but I think it certainly could have been a penalty. I'm a United fan, but that was a pen. Appreciate your honesty, mate. Lion said, in my opinion, Werner, Havertz, Pulisic, Kante, Kovacic, Silva, James, Zuma, Chilwell, Ziyech and Kovacic should be our starting 11. I mean, you said multiple players here a number of times, but, you know, it's a little bit hard for most fans to admit that one of our best midfielders of all time is not on form anymore. I completely agree, yeah, that's true. Why are no one talking about the fact Man United have been given the most penalties for the last 3 seasons and most since VAR was introduced? Completely true, completely true. In my opinion, 1-1 should have been the score Rashford and Jorginho pens. I'm pretty sure, I mean, Bruno Fernandes would have taken a pen, but you can't say we both should have had a penalty, to be honest, because they wouldn't have had their situation for a penalty if ours was given, because it literally happened right on the other end of the pitch from that counter-attack, from that penalty not being given, which came from a free kick, I think, of ours. You know, their penalty situation happened. So it wouldn't have happened if our pen was given. I'm a Liverpool fan, but that was a pen. Harry Maguire tried to choke Aspi. Yes, Zara, it did. No, you retracted your message, but I had read it out already. What you going to do about it, mate? What you going to do about it? I will answer a couple of more things that you guys have put into the chat. I will answer a couple of more things, and then we'll leave it there because, you know, we've spoken about a lot of things. At the end of the day, I still want to go back to the point that we had 1 shot on target and 2 shots off target. And, you know, I said this in my review over on Blues Fans TV already yesterday. Is Lampard doing a bit of a Mourinho here, going to the big sides away from home, and you just go there to get a draw, and maybe you can nick a 1-0? And that's pretty much the plan that ended up being on the pitch, because we defended well. We had a good goalkeeper to make 2 great saves in the end. And if the penalty is given, which should have been given, we probably win that game 1-0. Probably. No guarantee, no guarantee we score it, no guarantee we keep a clean sheet after that. But probably we win that game 1-0 then. And then it's a brilliant plan. But I don't think you can have that plan when you've already dropped points against the likes of West Brom and Southampton. I think then you have to go to every game to start winning until you have a good number of points to, you know, to be in a good position to fight for top 4, possibly fight for the title, because everyone's dropping points. Whether it's Man City, Liverpool, everyone's dropped points. Everton had a brilliant start of the season, and now today lost to Southampton. You know what I mean? You got to think about this. Thoughts on Reece James defensively? I think he's on the right track to become a complete right back. I completely agree, although I think actually his attributes make him more suited to being a centre mid or a CDM rather than a right back. Just his crossing is so good that he needs to be out wide. But I actually think his physique, his ability to shoot from distance, which he's the only one in our squad that we actually have that can do that. Ziyech as well, but obviously Ziyech plays high up the pitch anyway. But Ziyech, James is just a machine. Honestly, he's a machine, and I'm so excited to see him play more and more and more, to be honest. Say said, Lampard's lack of experience is becoming clear now. I love Lamps, but he needs to get the tactics right. He does, but you know, the problem is we don't always know what his plan is. And if his plan was yesterday to get that draw and maybe nick a 1-0, then his plan was perfect. But if his plan was to go down and win and be great at football, then obviously backfired massively. Someone asked, who is better right now in your opinion, Jorginho and Kante? As individual players, Jorginho, clearly, on current form. No Laurenz. Not penalty. After the tackle, Rashford already passed to Mata, who shot the ball. If Rashford went down, the ball went to Chelsea players, it's a penalty, and that's not the case. Maybe I've mixed things up then, Laurenz water bottle. Maybe I've mixed things up. I do apologise if so. Lion said, Edouard, man of the match. The man was amazing, making jumps and set pieces. Caught the ball. His record so far is 3 games, 1 conceded. That's against Tottenham. That 4 games, 1 conceded, because he played against Palace, he played against Sevilla, he played against Man United, and he played against Tottenham. 1 conceded in 4 games even. So, yes, bloody brilliant. Lamps is managing scared. Our defence is not sorted at all, despite everybody thinking so. Any team can shut down and play for 0-0, sad to say. I mean, any team can, but can they? Because a lot of teams try, and it doesn't always work. So, you know, it's better. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not be too negative. As much as there's things to criticise at times, whether it's about Lamps or the players, let's also admit that defensively it was better the last 2 games. Okay? Let's just admit that. I don't know whether you called me a clown, but if I'm a clown, you're a clown because you called me a clown, so that must make you a clown. Bro, Messi's on a decline now. Yeah, it's kind of true. What formation is the best, 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1? Now, just formation, if we disregard what players you have, I prefer 4-3-3. But because we have Kai Havertz, who in my opinion is by far the best, at his best, in the number 10. Although he needs to start linking defence and attack, he needs to do that more than the last 2 games. Struggled yesterday, played down the wing, but against Sevilla should have done better. But with Kai, 4-2-3-1, in general 4-3-3. My personal opinion. All right, mate. Lycott. Don't know how to pronounce your name, but you're gone. See you, mates. Gilmore, Kante / Kovacic may work. No. Gilmore maybe, but Kante Kovacic can't work because they both push. It's just a fact. I'm a Man United can't speak. Zahid said, I'm a Man United fan. If we started Van der Beek instead of Mata and not played McTominay or James, would have won easy. Defense was fine mostly, but we couldn't finish past Mendy sadly. Bad attacking play. I mean, we can make the same arguments. You know, if we didn't play 3 at the back, if you played more expensive, we could have beaten you easily. You know, it's maybe not quite as simple. Caio, haven't seen you in a while. Appreciate that. Caio said, hey, Lampard has a 50% win rate as a manager. Objective thoughts? There's many things to think about when you see this stat. First of all, a large majority of these games were before we invested heavily this summer, right? Large majority of these wins. When we just lost the best player, we brought a lot of young players in. We were in transition. We had good periods, we had bad periods, and we had a goalkeeper that's awful. Plus a defence where none of them is actually good. Now, we've brought in a better goalkeeper. Whenever Mendy's played, we've been much better. So that is one thing. So you could see that part improving. And now we've invested. So now Frank Lampard needs a bit of time and gets a bit of time from me to get it right. But if by Christmas and maybe even by March, things are still not better, then even I'm starting to say like, all right, enough's enough. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy to give him more time than maybe some other people. And I'll admit, I'm probably giving him more time because of who he is. But, you know, to some extent, he's earned that by the play he is. And not really, but also, yes. I don't know. It's a tricky one. New info about Frank being sacked. There's no new info about that. Hudson will most likely leave next summer. There is a good chance of that. Or a good chance, maybe not. But there is a chance of that. You know, I think we'll just have to wait and see how much he actually plays from now on. Usain said, I think Lampard will become a top manager because when he was a player, people said he wasn't that talented, but it was only because he worked so hard, and I think he will work just as hard as a manager. I agree. Ian said, Lampard or Ole, unbiased, please. Now, honestly, if you think about this, I don't know how old exactly Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has actually been a football manager for way over 10 years. It does just because it was most of that was in the Norwegian league. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? Lampard is in his 3rd managerial season. Ole is in his, what, 13th, 15th? Think about this. Compare Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now and Frank Lampard in 15 years. Then you'll see why Lampard is significantly better. Breaking news. Roman Abramovich is looking to replace Lampard by personal terms and talks to Massimiliano Allegri as soon as January. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's wrong. Roman isn't that patient. Maybe not. But I think also Roman is more patient with Frank. I believe Kovac should have started instead of Kante. I agree. Do you think Donny will be a starter for this season? Please reply. I mean, I'm not a Man United fan channel, but I don't think so. Why do you like Jorginho so much? He's not that good looking. I mean, personally, I think he actually is quite good looking, to be honest. But not that that makes any difference to me, but you know. Is what it is. Why do I like him? I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy. I think it's important for the vibe. You know, when I see Kante, I see nothing. I see a bit of a happy smile, but I see Jorginho pushing his players, pushing players around him, being great friends with everybody. So, you know, there's a lot of things what to like about Jorginho, in my opinion. Is he better to play back 4 or back 5? Yes, it definitely is. Back 4. In my opinion, they played good. If we had a penalty, the game should change. We just need a solution in attacking. Lampard did a good job. I mean, it's not as simple as that, but Black Lives Matter, and they really do, by the way. It's not as simple as, oh, we just need to solve the attacking. Attacking and scoring goals is the most difficult thing in all of football. So it's not just this. TK13 said, Thiago Silva is a beast. Should we give him a contract extension already? No. The guy is 36. You know, relax. He has a 2-year contract or a 1-year contract with our option to extend it. So, you know, I just don't want us to play like this against Arsenal. I mean, if we beat Arsenal but 1-0 by playing like this, happy with that. As an Israeli, I can tell you Roman won't be patient. Avram Grant is a good friend of his and he's active. I think Chelsea fans are being hopeful. Yeah, but you can't compare Roman Abramovich from then to Roman Abramovich now. It's different. It's different. What do you think of Kovacic Kante pivot? Nothing, because they both push. If Kante started to sit, maybe yes, but then I don't think Kante is good enough to sit with the ball at his feet. Do you agree that Silva will go down as a top 4 centre-backs of this generation? It always depends on what you define as this generation. Because Thiago Silva is 36. How old is John Terry? What, 14 or even? So are they in the same generation? Is Vidic and Ferdinand, are they in the same generation? You know, it's a tough one. The whole generation thing is a tricky one. It's true that Roman is looking for a replacement for Frank Lampard. I doubt it. Do you agree that... I said already. You're Laurenz. Do you think that Man United parked the bus and Chelsea deserve the win? I think Werner will take some time to fit into the team. I don't think Man United parked the bus by any means. I mean, we had 50% possession in the end, so I don't think you can say that. If Lampard was sacked, which manager should replace him? Personally, Bielsa. Chelsea fans and the Chelsea board wouldn't have the patience to get Marcelo Bielsa to work. It would be beautiful, but we just don't have that time. That's why I don't want Lampard to get sacked, because who else is there? Yeah, you have Allegri. I don't want that. I don't want Conte football again, and that's just what Allegri is. Just better knockout football. And then Tuchel is busy. Nagelsmann is busy. All these good managers actually have a job out of the Maurizio Pochettino. But can we actually get Pochettino? And Pochettino hasn't won anything at Spurs. You know, had a good team. Yeah, he made the Champions League final. And would I be happy with the Champions League final? Yes. But I also wouldn't be that happy with it. Ampadu would fit perfect in that pivot pair. Agree? Yeah, probably. As for the question on the right, Reese as DM, I thought about this already as well, Electronic. Yeah, really appreciate that. Yeah, I think we should at least try it. I think we should at least try it and see it as an option. And by the way, we have 80 people watching right now. I appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in, although I just went down to 70 people. But everyone, make sure you subscribe. You know, if you haven't already, help me hit 7k subs. We're less than, you know, just over 40 subs away from hitting 47k subs. So make sure you subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. And drop a like. Everyone that's watching right now, over 80 people, make sure you drop a like. That'd be massively appreciated. I mean, there's over 80 people and only 29 likes. Everyone go down below and smash that like button right now. Is Aspi a legend for you? He is for me. Maybe just under that. You said Reese isn't that fast, but he's pretty quick. It depends on who you compare him to, innit? He's not quick compared to Chilwell, for example. I don't think he is that quick. Who would you have in Chelsea's squad? De Ligt or Declan Rice? De Ligt, clearly. Does Aspi go down as a Chelsea legend for you? I don't know. I think it depends on how much longer he can still be a regular player. Not even a regular starter, but as a part of the squad. How long that can be happening. If, for example, he left at the end of the season, I don't think he'd be quite diligent, but not far off. Only 30 likes. Hit the like button. Yes, mate. Appreciate that a lot. Kayo said, at least Pochettino teams can play football. Our system doesn't work. The gaps between attack and midfield is outrageous. There is an analysis from between the posts that hurts to look. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. But then there is also, it depends on games. Look at the Palace game. We did it well. Look at the Everton game like last season. We did it well. There is games that we do well and there is games that we don't do well. That's kind of the problem. Dude, Aspie is a legend. I think he's not quite. Like if you compare him to a John Terry, a Frank Lampard, a DJ Drogba, a Petr Cech, and Ashley Cole, is Aspie that level? I don't think so. The fastest player at Chelsea is Werner. Yeah, alongside probably Tomori, maybe Rudiger. Pulisic or Rashford? As a striker, Rashford as a winger, Pulisic. But I really rate Rashford for what he's doing off the pitch. If we don't win our next 3 games, Krasnodar, Burnley, Rennes, I may have lost my cool. Look for us decided to bring a new manager in because our next 3 are winnable. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You should start doing collaborations here, man. I will. I did last week. Or for the last game even. I asked Lewis to be on today, but he was busy Saturday, so, that's that. Shaw registered won the fastest time in the United squad and Reece James outpaced him easy. But outpaced him, like they weren't both in full sprints. Like you can't just compare it that simply. I think Edouard needs to play next to him. He is doing the best job at the centre attack and midfield, but I think if passes to penalty box, he will score and get assists. Maybe that's not wrong. Roberto Di Matteo we need back. Not sure about that one, mate, but you think Hudson-Odoi should start against Krasnodar? For sure. But of course, if you want my thoughts ahead of the Krasnodar game, make sure you tune in to my preview on Blues Fans 3 for that. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave it here. I really do appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in. Really do. I love the conversation, the interaction with you guys. And of course, if you enjoy it as well, make sure you subscribe. Make sure, you help me reach 7k subs. Make sure you drop a like as well if you're still here. If you're watching this as a video at a later point, make sure you smash the like button, you subscribe, and leave me your thoughts, about everything that I discussed down in the comment section below. I really appreciate all of you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.